President Bola Tinubu has condemned the abduction and killing of innocent citizens by criminals in Niger State, directing the Armed Forces, Nigeria Police Force, Department of State Services, and other security and intelligence agencies to coordinate efforts to rescue the abducted victims. The directive was contained in a statement by the President's Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, declaring that those responsible for the attack would not go unpunished. The President described the perpetrators as enemies of peace and humanity, insisting that the perpetrators will be brought to justice. He extended condolences to the families of those killed and assured relatives of the abducted that the government would not relent until their loved ones were safely rescued. He further directed the service chiefs to provide regular briefings on the rescue operation until all those abducted are accounted for. Reaffirming the government's resolve to protect lives and communities, President Tinubu declared that acts of terror would not intimidate the country. The President also assured that the Niger State government and affected communities of the federal government support for recovery, relief, and security reinforcement. The Plateau State government has distributed relief materials to victims of the recent attack on Bin Mper community in Mangu local government area. Executive Secretary of the State Emergency Management Agency, Sunday Abdu, who led a delegation during the presentation, described the attack as unfortunate and devastating. Our correspondent tells us more.
Bin Per, a community less than 10 kilometers from Mangu town on the 18th of this month, came under attack by armed herdsmen, resulting in the death of several people. Presenting the relief materials, Executive Secretary, Plateau State Emergency Management Agency, Sunday Abdu, said the intervention is a directive by Governor Caleb Mutfwang for immediate assistance to the victims to alleviate their sufferings.
No amount of money that can be given to you that will assuage these pains from your heart. But remember that the one that protects us is God Almighty. He has sent in foodstuff to give you each household.
Abdu explained that the governor shares their pain, assuring of government's commitment to restoring peace across communities in the state.
He instructed us to ensure that we bring fertilizer to the community. Each of the households will have 4 bags, and then the remaining will be shared to the neighbors in the community. But do not sell your food, because there is money, cash that will be given.
Receiving the items for onward distribution to the affected families, village head of Mbinper Matthew Timothy and the leading reverend of LCC, Levinus Yerima, appreciated Governor Caleb Mutfwang for personally visiting the community to commiserate with the people. They explained that his visit and presentation of the relief materials to the victims demonstrates his love for people of the state.
We receive it with thanks. We don't have anything to pay in return. But the God that is keeping him will continue to keep him much more.
Shi mai girma gwamna jihar Plateau, Barsa Caleb Mutfwang. Gaskiya mun yi farin ciki domin ya kawo mana ta'aziya. Ran da aka yi mass burial, washe garin bai nan da nan ba, sai ga shi nan.
Items presented to the victims include bags of fertilizer, a variety of foodstuffs, and financial assistance. From Binper in Mangu local government area, I am Gwakop Timothy.
An 8-month international police operation targeting West African and other organized crime networks, known as Operation Jackal 4, has resulted in the identification of 263 suspects and the arrest of 58 people across 22 countries. Nigeria, alongside Austria, Argentina, Australia, Canada, Cote d'Ivoire, France, Germany, Indonesia, Ireland, Italy, Japan, Malaysia, the Netherlands, Portugal, South Africa, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, the United Arab Emirates, the United Kingdom, and the United States participated in the operation. International police said the results of the operation highlighted the increasingly international nature of West African organized crime and the need for continued cooperation between law enforcement agencies to disrupt criminal networks and their financial infrastructure. The operation was conducted between November 2025 and June 2026, with law enforcement agencies focusing on dismantling criminal networks, tracing illicit financial flows, identifying key suspects, recovering criminal proceeds, and supporting prosecutions. The Global Security Network disclosed the outcome of the operation in a statement published on its website. Interpol said the operation was launched in response to the growing international reach of West African criminal networks, including the Black Axe and other groups linked to cyber-enabled fraud and violent crimes. It stated that the networks have been associated with various forms of financial crime, including romance, scams, cryptocurrency, and investment fraud, as well as business email compromise schemes. The director of Interpol's Financial Crime and Anti-Corruption Center, Tomonobu Kaya, said the operation demonstrated the importance of international collaboration in tackling organized crime. Beyond financial crimes, the international operation uncovered an increase in sextortion cases involving West African organized crime groups and minors as young as 14. The ban on the operation of tricycles within the Bukuru Jos metropolis on Idil Maulud Day celebration witnessed a high level of compliance in some areas of Jos, the Plateau State capital. The ban, according to police, is to ensure a hitch-free Idil Maulud celebration and prevent the use of tricycles for criminal activities. Our correspondent went around town and filed in this report.
As part of effort towards ensuring a peaceful Eid Maulud celebration, the Plateau State Police Command placed a temporary ban on tricycle operations within the Jos Bukuru metropolis and other major towns in Plateau State. A visit around some major streets within the state capital indicates high level of compliance, as tricycles were not visible as usual. Conventional and non-conventional security personnel were sighted in strategic locations enforcing the ban. The development left many passengers stranded in locations such as the All Airport Junction, Polo Roundabout and Tudun Water Park, as they struggled for spaces in the few commercial vehicles plying the route. Added to the challenge faced by passengers during the celebration was the absence of metro buses. Shops were open for normal businesses at the popular Terminus Market and other places visited. I am Gokop Timothy.
Plateau State Governor Caleb Mutfwang says unity and peaceful coexistence are the only way to progress in any community. Governor Mutfwang stated this during the 57th Eid-il-Maulud celebration held at the Jos Central Mosque. Correspondent Simon Swatke has the details as presented in our studio.
Thousands of Muslim faithful gathered at the Jos Central Mosque to commemorate the birth of Prophet Muhammad. The celebration is a period of reflection, prayers, and acts of charity as Muslims remember the life, teachings, and exemplary character of the Prophet. This year's theme is emulating the prophetic path of peace, mutual respect, and religious freedom. Plateau State Governor Caleb Mutfwang, through Deputy Speaker of the Plateau State House of Assembly, Issa Madaki, urged citizens to imbibe the virtues of the Prophet, stressing that peace and religious tolerance remain key to Plateau's development. Some Muslim faithful who spoke with journalists also promised to live by the teachings and character of Prophet Muhammad.
And mutual interaction among the people living within that community. We are calling on all Muslims and non-Muslims to look at the life of the Prophet as an example way of doing our life, so that we can have love, we can have peace, and we can be fair and just in all our actions. Muslim Ummah should emulate all the good characters and the teachings of the Holy Prophet, so that we ensure that our society
peacefully coexist and develop accordingly.
Peaceful coexistence among the whole diverse communities, particularly in Jos North local government area.
Invited guests at the 57th Eid al-Maulud celebration made generous donations to support Islamic schools in the state in a bid to promote Islamic education.
And talking music and legendary status, music legend Dolly Parton died after a brief battle with cancer, aged 80. And People magazine also reported Parton was admitted to a cancer treatment facility on Friday and had acknowledged in a recent interview with the magazine that she was dealing with some health issues. And Parton rose from poverty in Tennessee to become a U.S. cultural giant with hits like Jolene and Coat of Many Colors. Parton was prolific in a career spanning 6 decades, during which she penned some 3,000 tunes. They included the soundtrack smash hit 9 to 5, Islands in the Stream, and the iconic ballad I Will Always Love You, which became an international success for Whitney Houston. They are releasing 49 studio albums and more than 100 compilation and collaboration albums. She earned the title of Queen of Country Music. And on the foreign scene, yet again, Tanzania's Vice President Emmanuel Nchimbi has announced he is resigning weeks after it was reported that he had fallen out with President Samia Suluhu Hassan. The 54-year-old shared his brief resignation later on his Instagram account, saying he wanted to respect the president's wishes. Nchimbi said he would retire from public life at the end of next week, less than 10 months after being sworn in and making him the first vice president to step down in the history of the East African nation. He was Samia's running mate in last October's disputed presidential election, which saw hundreds killed in post-poll unrest. The pair were sworn in last November after winning 98% of the vote. Official inquiry revealed violent protests in their wake of voting led to the deaths of at least 500 people. Opposition parties and human rights groups accused the security forces of unleashing a brutal crackdown on anti-government protesters. And that wraps it up for us on NEWSTRACK, coming to you live from our Refi facility. You can stay tuned for global news that comes up by 6:30 p.m. and news update by 10, as well as other programs on the platform. Thanks for joining and remain blessed.